All right, let's be real. Have you ever felt like you're just completely buried at work? You've got the to-do lists, you've tried all the apps, every time management trick in the book, and you're still drowning. Well, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to talk about a really powerful idea that completely flips the script on what we think of as productivity. And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? I mean, we are armed with calendars, planners, all these fancy matrices to prioritize everything, and yet burnout is through the roof. That feeling of being totally overwhelmed feels like the new normal. So what on earth are we missing here? Okay, so to find the answer, we've got to look at what some people are calling the overwhelm epidemic. And that phrase just hits, right? It's this constant feeling of defeat for so many of us. You're trying to meet what feels like an infinite number of demands, but you've only got a very finite amount of energy to do it. And here's the real problem at its core. Our work culture, for the most part, treats people like we're resources with unlimited time and energy, but we're not. And that creates this massive gap, this void, in what some thinkers call human capacity management. And you know what grows in that void? Yep, burnout. So this brings us to the fundamental problem. You see, the very idea that we've all been sold, this whole concept of time management, well, it's pretty much a myth. It's built on a flawed idea right from the start. And this is the big shift we have to make in our thinking. We've been living under this illusion that we can actually manage time. But you can't. Time just keeps ticking on no matter what you do. The reality? The only thing you can actually manage are the choices and the commitments you make within that unstoppable flow of time. So that means we have to totally redefine what time even is. It's not some resource you can control, like money in a bank account. It's really just a concept we humans invented to help us coordinate things. Think of it as a space of possibility. It's like a big empty container. You can't manage the container itself, right? All you can do is manage what you choose to put inside it. And, it's kind of easy to see how we got here. It all started back in the Industrial Revolution with factory clocks, just to get everyone working together. Simple enough. Then, in the 50s, the focus shifted to pure efficiency. How can we do things faster? And by the 80s, we got things like the Eisenhower matrix for urgent versus important. But you see the pattern here? Every single step was about trying to squeeze more stuff in. And that is just a perfect recipe for stress. Okay, so if managing time is the wrong goal, what's the right one? What's the alternative? Well, it's all about shifting our focus to the one thing we actually can control: our commitments. This, right here, is the real solution. Now, check this out. This is such a great analogy. Think about managing your commitments just like you manage a budget. It's simple, right? With money, you have a finite income and you track your expenses so you don't go into debt. It's the same idea with commitments. You have a finite capacity, a finite amount of energy and attention, and you have to track that against the promises you make. And when you overspend, the consequence isn't financial debt, it's burnout. It's broken promises and broken trust. But to make this whole thing work, we need to be super clear on what a commitment actually is. It is not just another task on your to-do list. A commitment is a promise from a speaker to a listener to get something done, and, this is crucial, under specific agreed-upon conditions. Getting this definition right, that's the whole key. So how do we actually build these promises so they don't fall apart? Let's get practical. We're going to break down the anatomy of a really solid commitment, because once you see the structure, you can start making promises that you actually know you can keep. Okay, so any effective commitment has 4 main parts. You've got the people involved, the speaker and the listener. You've got the future action, what's going to get done. You have a specific date and time, the when. But look at this last one. Conditions of satisfaction. This is the secret sauce. This is the part that everyone messes up. It's the crystal clear shared agreement on what done actually looks like. Seriously, most promises break down right here because of unspoken assumptions. And that brings us to these red flags. How many times a day do you hear these? Or maybe say them yourself. I'll get it to you ASAP. When you get a chance. End of day. These phrases are absolute commitment killers. They sound like promises, but they are so vague, they just create a minefield of unspoken expectations. And that almost always leads to disappointment and, you guessed it, damaged trust. All right, so knowing the theory is one thing, but putting it into practice is another. So how do we actually master this stuff? Let's dive into some really practical habits you can start using like today to get a handle on your promises. First things first, you have to get comfortable with the power of no. I mean, listen to this quote from Tim Cook at Apple. If a company with basically unlimited resources understands this, we should too. Saying no isn't about being negative or unhelpful. It's about being strategic. It's about protecting your focus, your capacity, honestly, your dignity, by only saying yes when you know you can deliver. Here's another huge one. Stop making the same decisions over and over and over again. Instead, create principles to live by. Just look at this. Instead of debating every single week, should I go to this meeting? You create a principle. I do not attend meetings on Fridays. Boom, decision made. This completely eliminates what they call decision fatigue, and it saves all that mental energy for the commitments that actually matter. But let's be realistic. What happens when you do break a commitment? Because look, it's going to happen to all of us. This is where a proper, structured apology becomes such a critical tool. And it's so much more than just saying, I'm sorry. It's about really acknowledging the impact, taking full ownership, no excuses, declaring how you'll change, and then offering to make it right. That is how you rebuild trust when things go wrong. Okay, here are a few more really powerful rapid-fire practices for you. Start scheduling 50-minute meetings instead of an hour. That builds in white space. Always end your day by recapping and making a quick plan for tomorrow. And this last one, oh, this is huge. Only plan for about 60% of your day. Leave that other 40% open. Why? Because that's your buffer for all the unexpected stuff that always comes up. It keeps the surprises from completely derailing your most important commitments. So let's just zoom out and reframe the entire goal here. The point of all of this is not to become some hyper-efficient robot who can cram more tasks into a day. No, it's about fulfilling the right commitments for the right people without causing breakdowns for yourself or for others. It's about working smoothly, not just harder. And that leaves us with one last question for you to really think about. As you look at the week ahead, what is one commitment, one meeting, one request, one project that you can say no to? What can you decline this week to create the space you need for the things that truly matter? Give it some thought, because the power to end the overwhelm, it's right there in your promises.